Hey everyone, let's just dive right in. Welcome to this explainer, where we're going to unpack a massive, absolutely critical shift happening right now in how we manage generative AI in production. Look, if you're building AI features, you have prompts, and if you have a team, you almost certainly have a prompt versioning problem. Today, we're moving away from the chaos of messy documents, and we're going to start treating our prompts with the exact same engineering rigor as our core application code.
Think about the sheer scale of the risk here. Just picture this. It's a Friday afternoon. A developer decides to tweak one single word in a system prompt just to fix a minor formatting issue. And because it's just text, right? There's no formal evaluation run. Fast forward to Monday morning, and your customer support tickets have literally tripled because the AI started hallucinating features that don't even exist. This is the ultimate Friday nightmare scenario. In the world of large language models, prompts are not just text strings. They are your product logic. Changing one word can cause catastrophic, completely silent regressions across your entire live system.
And honestly, this brings us to the painful reality that most teams are currently living in. So many teams are tracking their prompt logic in shared spreadsheets, random direct messages, or just scattered configuration files. There's no version history. If something breaks, there is absolutely no automated rollback mechanism. And worst of all, when an output goes totally wrong, there's zero record of which exact prompt was live at that specific time to cause it. It's just a complete operational void.
But don't worry, we are going to fix this. Here's our blueprint for this explainer. We'll cover the prompt management crisis, why prompts are actually executable artifacts, how to build a prompt registry, navigating testing and dependency problems, and finally, the complete lifecycle of a prompt.
All right, let's get into Section 1, the prompt management crisis, and why moving beyond the prototype stage breaks all our old ways of working.
We need a major paradigm shift here. We have to stop treating prompts like 2010-era configuration variables that are just static, untracked, and very deep in your source code. Instead, prompts must be treated as vital, executable software artifacts. When you bury a prompt in your code, changing a single sentence requires a full deployment cycle. A branch, a review, a build. That is just an unacceptable bottleneck for an asset that might need hourly refinement by domain experts. They shouldn't have to navigate complex code repositories just to tweak a tone of voice.
Which brings us to part 2, treating these executable artifacts with strict code-level governance.
So, what does this actually look like in a daily engineering operation? Well, it requires absolute discipline. Every single time a prompt is altered, no matter how tiny the change is, it gets a unique version identifier. No in-place edits, no overwriting. Every change requires a commit message explaining exactly why the change was made. And this is crucial. That version identity isn't just about the text itself. It must include a direct link to the evaluation results that justified promoting this prompt in the first place.
So, where do we actually put all this structured data? That takes us to part 3, building the prompt registry, your centralized store.
The big architectural shift here is the prompt registry itself. You should think of it as the single source of truth for your application's intelligence. It completely decouples your prompts from your core application code. Your application just handles the routing and the logic, basically asking the registry, hey, give me the latest production version of the support bot prompt. This is huge because it empowers product managers and domain experts to iterate safely without needing a full software deployment.
Let's make this abstract concept super concrete. Take a registry entry like version v2.1.0, for example. It isn't just a string of text. It's inextricably linked to the specific model it was tested on, the evaluation scores it achieved, say a 94% relevance score, and the exact date range it was live in production. If a customer reports a weird response from January 10th, boom, you look at this registry and you know with 100% certainty exactly which prompt, model, and parameters generated that specific response.
And here's how this builds into the wider ecosystem. Taking a holistic view, your prompt management system feeds precisely defined prompt versions directly into your core application, but it doesn't stop there at all. It's actually a continuous loop feeding right back into your evaluation systems and experiment tracking. Every single run becomes a complete snapshot of the conditions that produced it, giving you total granular observability over your AI's behavior.
Moving right along to part 4, we really have to talk about the dangers lurking in the shadows. Testing and dependency problems.
Because prompt quality is so probabilistic and totally context-dependent, we have to ask ourselves this one critical question. When we change a prompt, how do we know the new version is actually better? We definitely can't just rely on a handful of manual test cases anymore.
To answer that, we use rigorous A/B and shadow testing mechanisms. You don't just swap out the prompt for everyone all at once. Instead, you route a small, statistically significant portion of live user traffic, maybe just 5%, to the new version, version B. The vast majority, that other 95%, safely remains on the stable production baseline, version A.
But running the test is honestly only half the battle. You have to put your prompts through a true gauntlet. You must define a clear business success metric up front. Are we measuring latency, cost, user thumbs-ups, or relevance? You need real statistical confidence before promoting the new version to 25%, 50%, and then 100% of traffic. And here is the absolute lifesaver. You have to implement clean, instant rollback triggers. If your new prompt improves accuracy but silently degrades system latency to unacceptable levels, your system needs to automatically revert to the old version in seconds, no questions asked.
And that brings us to a really massive pitfall. A prompt does not exist in a vacuum. It relies on a highly fragile dependency stack. It's actually a combination of four things: the prompt text itself, the specific version of the underlying language model, the retrieval configuration feeding a context from your databases, and the output parser that actually consumes the model's response.
Here is the terrifying part about all this. Changing any one of these elements without re-evaluating the whole combination is exactly how silent regressions happen. If you tweak your database retrieval logic to return more documents, but you don't retest the prompt, the model might suddenly get overwhelmed by all that extra context and just start hallucinating. Your prompt didn't even change, but your system completely broke. You have to version and test the entire combination every single time. Let's tie everything we've learned together in Section 5, the life cycle of a prompt from code to production.
So this is what complete operational control looks like from start to finish. Step 1. An engineer or domain expert updates the wording to fix an edge case. Step 2. That change is immediately logged as a new, immutable version in the registry. Step 3. This automatically triggers evaluation gates, running the prompt against hundreds of golden datasets just to ensure no baseline metrics drop. Step 4. If it passes, it moves to a staged A/B rollout on live traffic, starting at that 5% and scaling up as confidence grows. And finally, Step 5. The old version is gracefully retired, though it's kept safe in the registry's history just in case we ever need to audit it. It is methodical, it is safe, and it is entirely scalable.
I want to leave you with this final, really powerful thought. Versioning tells you what changed, but experiment tracking tells you whether the change was actually better. Today, we've mastered how to track exactly what changed, but how do we scientifically prove it was a step forward? Well, that is a whole different level of operational excellence. Keep this question in the back of your mind because it's exactly what you need to explore next. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.